Welcome to the Patriots lab, where we ain't even trying to, we make them liberals mad. Cause freedom of speech is what us individuals have. It's the gift when we gab, talking about things that the brainwash cannot mentally grasp, like staying loud and waving our American flags. This is for the free thinkers, wearing their MAGA and wearing the cags. Draining the swamp is the ultimate goal, but the sheeple will swear it's a fad, like it's just a phrase. But when we show them the facts, the fools got nothing to say, and deep government state wanna get up in our face, but hasn't done it yet cause Trump's in the way, trying to protect us from a troublesome fate. And because of that, we'll never lose our faith, plus God keeping us cool and safe. But I still hope we get 4 more years so we could throw a huge parade. I can see it now, Patriots on a float, and POTUS will go down in history as one of the GOATs for making the swamp pay for taking every one of his votes. His enemies are the cancer, whether or not Trump give him the smoke. Now relax it back and take notes as we kick facts with the homie Ray though. Speak your mind in the Patriots lab. It's freedom time in the Patriots lab, where we ain't even trying to, we make them liberals mad. I said speak your mind in the Patriots lab. It's freedom time in the Patriots lab, where we not even trying to, we make them liberals mad. I said, speak your mind in the Patriots lab. It's freedom time in the Patriots lab, where we not even trying to, we make them liberals mad. Speak your mind. It's freedom time. Without even trying to, we make them liberals mad.
Where we at? Good morning, people, patriots, whoever you consider yourself to be. I'm clowning this morning. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. A beautiful day in the neighborhood. What's up, Cousin Yellow? Good morning. Welcome to the lab. Doe with Golden Wolf, Brzelski. Welcome to the lab. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I sent out some links. I got some people coming through this morning. Everybody go ahead and grab your coffee. Make sure my microphone is where it needs to be. We're going to get into some actual and factual today. But before we get into some actual and factual, y'all already know how we get down. Like, share, subscribe, ring that bell so you can get these instant notifications. Who else? We got Ann Kendall in the lab this morning. Welcome. I believe we have Mama Mona that's going to be coming on board this morning because we're going to have a good conversation. And fix my microphone here. We're going to get into some. Wait for some eyeballs to pop up on. I think I got Mama Mona in the building. She was behind in the back room. Let me see if we have her. Good morning, good morning, good morning, Mama Mona. How are you? How are you? How are you?
Oh, I'm fine. I'm just a little bit. I got my dander up. What do you think about that? I don't get my dander up very often.
The actual factual is you look like yellow right now. Woohoo, Miss Mona, my cousin maker. We got cousin Yella in the building.
Really?
Yes, yes.
I likes cousin Yeller. Hello, darling.
Darren Hawkins.
I haven't heard from him in a while. Till today, I got a couple messages from him or likes on my posts. But
so how have you been, Mama Mona?
Well, I got some bad news from the doctor, but we'll live with it. Yeah, I'd have to give up picking anything up from the floor. Nothing. Not even something that weighs a pound. I'm not supposed to ever again bend over and pick something up from the floor.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you might be in the market for like an indigent servant or something.
Yes. I need an indentation servant. Yeah. They're little things. I mean, that I've got the torn hamstring, and it's not torn completely. If it were torn completely, it would actually be better than the way it is, because the way it's just hanging on, it can actually tear the bone away because the bone is thin. if it should pop loose. The rest
Right.
of the way, it could take a piece of the pelvic bone with it, which wouldn't be nice. I don't think I'd like that. But yeah, I in fact I tried to pick up a brick. It's a heavy one, but a brick that I had put in place, and I thought, well, I can just pick it up and move it. Honey, I couldn't even get it off the ground because of my legs. My back won't allow
Wow.
me to lift. Once you bend your knees, trying to protect your back, you bend your knees to pick something up, but my leg won't let me pick it up. So I guess I'm done picking things up from the ground. Oh well, I'll make somebody else pick it up from the ground. Or I
Well,
won't put it on the ground in the first place.
hey, I know how you feel. I got a bad back myself, and I got to be careful because it's they got these letters and numbers for it. It's the L7 and the S1 has a dislocation problem, so I got to be careful myself with what I can pick up. But you know, you like to do too much. You like to do too much, so it's gonna be a learning curve for you. I can already tell it's gonna be a learning curve for you.
Well, my problem is that because I have that congenital insensitivity to pain,
Uh huh.
I can break it, tear it, do all kinds of things, and I never feel any pain. So I don't have a stop sign that says, "Oh, don't do that because it hurts." Well, I don't have the hurt to tell me to stop.
Right.
So I do things. They're afraid right now that I've got such bad, what they call degenerative bone, disc, and facet disease. And they're afraid that I have torn maybe some facets in my back. So we're going to get an MRI, but they can't get me in to get an MRI until March 4th.
Right.
But to find out if I, in fact, did tear some facets, we don't know. And I don't have the pain to be able to tell somebody where it hurts.
Right.
And I do know that what happened made me go completely numb from my eyeball all the way to my waist and all the way down my arm. Sent me at the hospital, but thought we was having a stroke. I wasn't having a stroke. Whatever happened in my back uh, caused that nerve to become pinched, and it cut off all feeling from about my eye. It was really strange because it was only to here, and my mouth became extremely numb. Now, the mouth didn't come back at hardly for a long time. It was like 4 hours before I got feeling back in this side of my mouth. But uh, after doing CTs and heart and everything else, when they put it, the feeling had come back to everything except my mouth and the very tips of my fingers. And then they took and put a x-ray board behind me in the
Right.
bed to lean up against. Well, when I leaned up against it, the whole left side went numb again. So we know it's my back.
Wow. Well, Patriot Nation's prayers are with you, and we're gonna
Oh, honey,
always
I am
keep
going
you
to
in prayer.
live. I'm going to live, right? I'm going to live till I die. It's a 100% guarantee. And I'm going to live life to its fullest till the moment the good Lord calls me home. Uh, so, uh, heck with it. I'll just keep going. I'll do some limitations. I'll follow the doctor's orders as don't pick anything up from the floor. Okay.
Well, yeah, you got just
It
got to
is
be
what it is.
careful. Just got to be careful. Well, today
Yeah. Yeah.
I
I can
got
still, you're right. I can still bug tussle, and I'll bug tussle every day. But I told you I had my dander up. Okay. Last night, that beautiful J6 thing that we do every night, okay, for those men up there in the gulag, I got a message for the a hole that decided to scream over a bullhorn continuous dirty words and accusations while our J6ers only get 5 minutes on the phone. to talk to people. And we couldn't hear that man from inside the gulag talk to us about why everybody got locked down and all of that right after Carl released the J6 videos. They immediately went in and turned all the J6ers jail cells and put them in lockdown, and they felt that it was retaliation. But we needed to hear those people talk. And that little guy, he has to be a little bitty guy, because a big guy would stand up, and not be like that. But
Right.
I was really upset. Every night I tune in to watch the vigil, to say the Pledge of Allegiance, to sing. And for me, it's 8 o'clock, it's 9 o'clock for them. To stand right here in my trailer every night at 8 o'clock and sing the national anthem with them. And I want to be able to hear when they call in. I want to hear their voices. I want to know what's going on inside that jail. But when you get some little insect, and that's all I'm going to call that person, is an insect. I don't call names. He's chosen to give himself an insect name. But I'm going to tell you what, I ever get an opportunity to come face to face with that insect, God forgive me, because I'm afraid I'm going to tear him a new. I know he already has an asshole or is an asshole, but I'm going to tear him a new one, because what he did last night was so disrespectful, not only to the people that are falsely incarcerated, as we've seen the shaman in the video at Carl Tuckerson. That man did nothing to be imprisoned for 4 years for. Nothing.
Well, we're going to dissect that, and we're going to get into that, and we're actually going to get into the show. So y'all make sure y'all subscribe. And what we're going to do, actually, being that Mama Mona led us into the segment with Tucker Carlson, we're going to take a brief look. And for a lot of people out there that aren't familiar with what is going on, I put up some videos that Tucker Carlson newly released, and everything is basically self-explanatory. How an individual can be treated in such a way by the government that he once worked for and a country he once served is just still beyond explanation. And as you can see in the title today, we just want answers. That's all we want is answers. But instead of giving us answers, let's go and see what they're still portraying to be taking place. Let's listen to Tucker.
Afraid. It has the same effect on countries, by the way. We're living through one of those clarifying moments, which actually we're thankful for, where we're learning exactly who the liars are. On Monday, we showed you unreleased videotape from January 6th. That tape proved that 3 of the most important claims our leaders have made about that day were untrue. Their claims were lies. We were not shocked to discover that. We knew there was a reason that congressional leaders had been hiding the tape and that reporters in Washington weren't demanding to see it. They were lying to us, obviously. That's why you hide things. But what was actually surprising, what we can't quite get over even now, is how they responded when they were caught lying. They didn't seem embarrassed. They didn't apologize. They weren't even curious to learn more about what actually happened on January 6th. Let's see the tape. No, they didn't want to see it. They exploded in rage. And then, as liars tend to do, they doubled down. They told the same lies they've been caught telling, but with even greater aggression this time. Shut up, it's midnight, they said as the sun rose behind them. Who acts like that? Well, sociopaths do. And in this case, the sociopaths turned out to be both Democrats and Republicans. The commitment to lying in Washington is far deeper and more bipartisan, even than we realize when we follow this stuff for a living. Now, you sometimes hear people say that the whole partisan system is an illusion and that underneath the manufactured debates, the leaders on both sides are in fact secretly united in a common love of money and power and the deception required to get them. And honestly, we can never bring ourselves to believe that. It's just too dark. But now we do believe it because we have seen it. Consider the death of police officer Brian Sicknick. Now, we still don't know exactly how Officer Sicknick died. We're not certain that anyone does know. No one has explained it. But after reviewing the previously withheld video evidence, we can tell you with certainty that Officer Sicknick was not beaten to death by Trump voters at the Capitol. The tape shows very clearly Brian Sicknick walking through the building in apparent health after the media told us for 2 years that he had been murdered. So they were wrong about that. Okay, they got caught. Here's the interesting thing. They won't admit it. Liz Cheney's tweet is still on Twitter tonight. Officer Sicknick was killed defending our Capitol from the violent mob on January 6th. No correction. Anderson Cooper of CNN still has not. Officer Sicknick died after being hit in the head with a fire extinguisher during the lies. So why not just admit it and move on? But they won't. In fact, this week, the White House trotted out both the press secretary and Joe Biden's attorney general, the attorney general of the United States, to claim not just that Brian Sicknick was actually murdered by Republicans at the Capitol, but that other officers were murdered too. It's almost beyond belief. Watch this.
The range of bipartisan lawmakers, you heard them all yesterday. You guys reported on it, who have condemned this false depiction of the unprecedented violent attack on our Constitution and the rule of law, which cost police officers their lives.
It was a violent attack on a fundamental tenet of American democracy, that power is peacefully transferred from one administration to another. Over 100 officers were assaulted on that day. 5 officers died.
Okay. So, I mean, we will keep him up there because this is the Attorney General of the United States of America.
I wish he had a Pinocchio nose.
That's
So
still
we can
going to
see how
come out.
long it would get with his lies.
But you know, the audacity that they can still come out, Mama Mona, and perpetrate the fraud that they have been perpetrating is just beyond me. I mean, we've told people, but now they get to see for themselves firsthand what we've been telling them for years. And these people, for some reason, rather than to say the jig is up, in the eyes of all the evidence, they for some reason still choose to double down and refuse to admit what they've done. And I don't understand it.
Well, this man turned around and has said that the border's closed too, and we have seen with our own eyes.
The reason I put Legion on a license plate Lamborghini
That's not
is
the
because
case.
the fastest way that I found to 6 figures a
Okay, hold on.
Translate known as
Okay.
the QAnon shaman, but
I'm having technical. See, they don't like it sometimes.
No, they don't want you to rebroadcast this. Hell, more
But I'm
people
going
might
to.
see it.
I'm going to. Bear with
Good
me
boy.
1 second here. Okay. So I guess we can start. Let me see if I can.
Well, no one's ever very precise about that. Here's what.
Hold on. Let me see where I can start from. Yeah, we'll go ahead and we'll start from there, Mama Mona. But before we get started, you were speaking about how and the young man's name is Jacob Chansley.
Yes.
Chanley. Is it no? There's an S in it. It's Chansley.
Chansley. Okay.
Yeah, Jacob Chansley. He was sentenced to 41 months in prison.
Yeah.
For
walking around his own house.
But not just walking around his own house, but as you will see in the video footage, this man was literally escorted around
The media
the
told you
house.
it was.
In his horned helmet, fur pelts, and face paint, Jacob Chansley became known as the QAnon shaman. But prosecutors called him the most prominent symbol of a violent insurrection.
He's been in jail since January, and he's trying to get out, but prosecutors say he is still too dangerous to release.
Make no mistake, Chansley is a stone cold thug.
He kept saying, I'm not this woman, but then you put those images you just about, you put those.
So they want to base images. See how they it's crazy how they try to manipulate you. It
My
really
problem
is.
is what are they going to do if the American people decide to commit a real insurrection? What are they going to do?
Well, I don't think the American people are going to do that. But let's go ahead and finish this, and then we're going to dive into the conversation.
Those images together as an image of of peace.
Being
this is
escorted
the new
around.
face of extremism.
It's the new face of extremism. Jacob Chansley is the new face of extremism. He's a stone cold thug. Prosecutors say he is too dangerous to release. And most people believe that because why wouldn't they? They were told it and there was no evidence to the contrary. And now there is evidence to the contrary. We brought it to you Monday. The video that...
Now, this looks to me like this is an officer who is escorting the shaman to possibly what looks like to be an entryway, a door into something, but they find out that the door is locked. So what do? Let's see.
We reviewed at great length over 3 weeks showed with precision
we'll go somewhere else.
what Jacob Chansley actually did inside the Capitol.
Now, the shaman is so dangerous because you got to remember they painted him out to be some extreme lunatic.
Yeah, he's walking around with that deadly American flag,
As you can see, the second officer left the first officer to go over here. It seemed like he was going to grab, let me see if I can, look like he was going to get this or something. Yeah. But he actually left. So he took his eyes off the assailant, left him with it. See, it doesn't make sense, folks. It doesn't make sense. The man is
turning his back to a deadly insurrectionist armed with an American flag. Wow.
Let's continue.
Here's what it looks like once again. Here's video of Chansley in the Senate chamber. Capitol police officers take him to multiple entrances and even try to open locked doors for him. We counted at least 9 officers who were within touching distance of unarmed Jacob Chansley. Now,
so we will stop again. And I'm not going to stop playing this. We will break this down every day until Jacob Chansley is free. for the simple fact, this is what you call exculpatory evidence. Why didn't they want us to see this?
Because it proves that he did no crime.
If he was trespassing, even if he was trespassing, you mean to tell me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 officers can't apprehend this individual and escort him off the premises? He's there illegally, according to them.
Not one of them even tried to slow him down. Chansley understood that Capitol Police were his allies. Video shows him giving thanks for them in a prayer on the floor.
Wait a minute. Let me just hold the door open for you. Let me hold the door open for you. You highly dangerous individual. Let me help you. Wait a minute. Your hands are full? I got you. Don't worry about it. They're not standing in front of the door saying, no, this is off limits. You can't come in here. You're not allowed in here. This is off limits. You can go down all the other corridors. Go ahead, hit the other corridors. But you cannot come into these chambers. Nah, that's where we draw the line. Did they do any of that? No, what did they do? Let's see.
Floor of the Senate. Watch.
Thank you, Heavenly Father, for giving the inspiration needed.
Now, listen to the prayer closely.
To these police officers to allow us into the building.
This deranged person, the shaman, allegedly, that they say he is, this crazy person, to these police officers. Look, in case you're deaf and you can't hear, well, you can't hear, but read what the words say. To these police officers to allow us into the building. Now you got to remember, he's saying this within the context in which the arena they are in at the time. So this is what he is feeling. This isn't something that he makes up after the fact. This is during. Look at them people. Look at those those are not. That is not the body language of somebody that just climbed up a rope, that just broke a window, or that's not the body language of somebody that just assaulted a police officer. Those people are praying for their country. Those people are praying for what we see now to be eliminated then. Let's continue.
Contrast the reality of what Jacob Chansley did in the Capitol building on January 6th, the indisputable facts recorded on video, some of which has never before been.
Once again, what do you think they're telling him? They're not telling him to leave, because anybody with common sense knows if they was telling him to leave, they would have been telling him to leave frames ago. This is after he leaves the chambers. So even if he was trespassing in the chambers, why are they not now going to apprehend him for trespassing? No, they continue on with their tour.
Seen,
and that's what it was.
With the
is the tour.
depiction of Jacob Chansley that you've seen in the media from.
Now, something else that I noticed. Don't know if you guys noticed, but I noticed it. I've been doing podcasting for a little bit. This right here, you see this guy standing next to the shaman? And this is my humble opinion. That don't look like no regular guy.
That's a reporter.
That does not look like. Let's back up and let me see if I can get it again for you. I like doing it. Oh, I mess it up. See, I get a commercial going, but that's
I
what
buy the
happens
same
when
products
I get,
you do,
when I get keep
only I get them
crazy.
much cheaper. I save hundreds of
Y'all
dollars a
get it
month
actual and
by doing this
factual.
one simple.
Okay.
It's not even close. How about March of 1954, when Puerto Rican separatists shot 5 congressmen in the Capitol building?
Okay, I think we're back up to where we was.
Contrast the reality of what Jacob Chansley did in the Capitol building on January 6th, the indisputable facts recorded
Okay,
on
so
video,
we're back
some
to
of
where
which
we're
has
back
never
to
before
square
been
one
seen,
for those
with
who
the depiction of Jacob
Okay.
Chansley that you've seen in the media.
That camera isn't an ordinary camera. That isn't an ordinary camera. And like Miss Mona
For
said,
more
that's
than
a
2
reporter.
years.
She knew it right off.
He's a terrorist, they said. He should
Let's
be
continue.
killed.
Shoot him. Shoot him.
For what?
Like, if
For
you
what?
burst into the United States, heck, if he was dressed like Bin Laden, would you have
Did
shot
he
him?
just make
Shoot
a
him.
deadly
Shoot
threat?
him. It makes you wonder, who are the
Did he just try to
violent
incite
extremists here?
violence?
So as you saw, and again, details matter because this is a man. This is an American citizen, a Navy veteran. This is a human being. And so what he actually did should be of deep concern to every American because he's in jail tonight. What Jacob Chansley actually did was wander peacefully through the Capitol, shepherded by Capitol police officers who literally opened doors for him. When one was locked, they went to another. Dozens of officers stood and watched him. All of them had guns. Jacob Chansley did not. They never told Jacob Chansley to get out. The head of the Capitol Police today said he was trying to calm the situation. It was already calm. He was the only protester in the frame. They could have let him outside. They didn't. They helped him. We're not going to speculate as to why. We don't know why. All we know is what we see on the tape, and no one disputes it. We didn't cherry pick it. We didn't make it up. Once inside the Senate chamber, as we told you, Chansley said a prayer thanking God for the kindness of Capitol Hill police. And good for him, they were kind. This was not a domestic terrorist. And that matters. But what matters even more is that the videos that we showed you after 26 months were not shown to Jacob Chansley's attorneys. That's a violation of the Constitution. And he's in jail because of it, because the liars on the January 6th committee and the prosecutors who did their bidding. And that.
This is Tucker Carlson's. This ain't me. For YouTube, just want to let you know, I'm doing this for educational uses only. For anybody that watches my channel, you can draw your own conclusion. Tucker Carlson, his opinions are his opinions and his opinions alone.
That means Benny Thompson, and that means Adam Schiff. It means Liz Cheney. These people have this man's life on their hands. They helped withhold these videos from Jacob Chansley's attorneys. And that means the judge who sentenced Jacob Chansley, Royce Lamberth, never saw them either. And therefore, Lamberth was able to say, Judge Lamberth was able to say that what Chansley did was, quote, horrific. He apparently had no idea that Chansley was wandering around with the cops, walking through doors they opened and saying prayers for them. We're quoting, "You made yourself the center of the riot," said the judge. Really? He accused Chansley of, quote, obstructing the functioning of government. But that's not at all what was happening. He was ambling through the Capitol, flanked at all times by armed cops who were directing his movement. Meanwhile, prosecutors of the DOJ, the real villains here, falsely, they lied in court and said that Chansley was, quote, leading the charge into the Capitol on January 6th. They said he was, quote, the flag bearer for the mob, apparently because he had a flag. He was alone. And of course, the media picked up on this and amplified it as the DOJ intended. Fortune magazine disgraced itself by comparing the man you just saw to ISIS. They said Chansley had, quote, the zeal to possibly kidnap or kill officials. These aren't just lies. These are lies that destroyed a man. So no matter who you voted for in the last election, you could probably agree that sending someone to prison for 4 years on the basis of fabricated evidence is the most serious threat to civil liberties we could possibly face. And yet here's the thing. Leaders in both parties, the party that Chansley voted against and the party he voted for, have said nothing, not one word about the implications of this videotape. The implications not just for Chansley, but for our Constitution and our country going forward. Instead, ooh, how dare you show this? What is clearly exculpatory evidence. And again, it's not just Chuck Schumer, it's Republican senators. Kevin Cramer, Mike Rounds, Chuck Grassley, John Thune, Lindsey Graham, of course, Congressman Dan Crenshaw, needless to say, Kelly Armstrong, all went after us. We're not whining about that. We don't care, actually, but it just tells you everything about the way things actually work. They're not loyal to their voters. They're loyal to each other. And they're willing to lie, really lie, and crush people. Mitch McConnell, Tom Tillis, and BLM superfan Mitt Romney, all men, and like all weak men, vicious.
Okay. I can only stomach so much.
Yeah.
So I abruptly disengage from that. There are no words.
If it can happen to them, it can happen to you or me.
It's crazy. It really is. For something like that to...
He's
you know how they can
4
destroy
years.
people.
He's serving 4 years, but you know what? Shouldn't those officers that helped him with that also be serving 4 years?
Right.
I mean, they were just as culpable. In fact, more culpable than Shiley, than the shaman. They actually opened the doors. So therefore, they are as guilty the shaman and could be accountable for their insurrectional actions. Fair's fair. I don't want to see their lives ruined, okay? But I got a problem with certain narratives. Number one, there is no such thing as a QAnon. Q is a quantum computer who predicts things based on information. And anon is someone who believes the computer's predictions. No different than a Christian who believes that the Bible is a prediction. But I'm sick that they call him a QAnon shaman. That's a lie. There's no such thing as a QAnon. There is a Q. That's the quantum computer. That's why it's called Q. It is an analytic computer system. Period. Just like the Bible is a book. It is a computer system that predicts things based on information. And anon is no different than a Scientologist that believes in their belief, or a Christian that believes in the Bible, or like me, I'm a Nostradamus person. I believe Nostradamus was a pretty good prophet.
Let me respond to a comment. We have Larry in the building. Good morning, Larry. Larry says, so the violent footage of January 6th is fabricated. No, the violent footage shown on January 6th is actual and factual. That actually took place. Let me get to some more. Let me get to some more comments. Go ahead, another one. Does Tucker do a story on a suicide bomber, mostly peaceful walk and the target before detonation. Oh, I don't know. I don't know on that. But yeah, no, the violent footage wasn't fabricated. No, it was actual and factual, man.
And I still
I just
believe that
my
they were
my whole
planned.
thing with it, I just hate when people are just blatantly done like Jacob Chansley was done. How many more Jacob Chansleys are out there? You know what I'm
200
saying?
and over 200 of them.
What did it say? Literally the only defense the GOP, let's see. Literally the only defense GOP has in January 6th is what about isms? He says QAnon was a CIA psyop.
See what they know about Q.
Huh?
It shows me that they really don't know what Q's been around for a long time. It sits in Utah.
Mm-hmm.
It's a huge, enormous computer system. Massive.
Right.
That's what Q
I don't
is.
know nothing. I don't know nothing about any of that stuff.
It's called a quantum computer.
The quantum computer?
Mm-hmm.
But what I do know right now, you know, what our focus has to stay on is, you know, the real injustice. I mean, something that we can put our hand on, something we can really talk about and embrace and understand. The simple fact of the matter is that there's a man that's sitting in jail for as far as I can see from the video, and this is without anybody being any influence or putting any influence in me, he didn't do anything wrong.
Imagine that.
He didn't do nothing wrong. I mean, you couldn't show me one violent occasion, one outburst occasion that he was interacting in.
I don't think the man raised his hand to anyone.
Exactly. See, so you know, God works in mysterious ways, and for them to hold him as a primary face of a so-called insurrection movement without any type of violent footage to offset all of the escorted, cool, calm, and collective footage that we seen with him, with police at all times for some reason. You know, it's crazy when it looks like you're looking at a movie. You know, it
What got me was the scenes from inside the rotunda area where all them wonderful patriots are going over to those beautiful statues and standing there and having their picture taken with the statues. You know, the one guy, when the thing got knocked down, okay, and fell on the floor, the thing that held that book or whatever it was, to take the time to bend down and pick it up and put it back in place because it was an important thing in the White House. So, I mean, in the Capitol building, and he didn't want to see it crumbled on the floor. So he was a true insurrectionist. He picked up after himself and others. I get my dander up when I see blatant misuse of government in this man's whole life, his kids, his family have been destroyed financially, emotionally destroyed. Okay, who's supporting this man's family outside this dad's family? Okay, who's holding his wife? Who's providing education and clothing and for his children? He did that until they took him into custody for walking around in his own house. That's my point. It's called the people's house. And the people have a right to go into their own home, their own house. It belongs to all those people. It does not belong to those congressmen and those senators, except that they are considered a people. Special rights are not granted to congressmen and senators to have sole possession, sole right to enter the people's house. If they can arrest you, like they did the shaman, for walking around in his own house, he owns it, he's a taxpayer, he fought for it in the Navy, and they can hold him for trespass in the people's house, they can hold you for trespass in your own. Are they going to come arrest me because I'm walking around in my own house? They're trying. They're trying to do people that way. And the only way we can actually beat them, Ray, is at the polls. Okay? But that's funny too.
Well,
okay?
I believe we're slowly but surely trying to work on that too. You have any events that are coming up anywhere down in your Missouri area?
Yes, well, we got the Convoy of Honors in the event planning process. That's for November the 4th through the 12th. We're working on, right now, we're working on donations to help East Palestine. Soup Mama's crew loaded up another 50-some foot trailer today, totally full with pallets of supplies to go to East Palestine. And I'm putting it out to the EPA because the EPA is checking for vinyl chloride. Well, vinyl chloride ceased to be vinyl chloride the minute they set it afire. It became dioxin. But the EPA and everybody else is refusing to check for dioxin, because if they do, that entire black cloud that flew from Palestine, Ohio, over Pennsylvania, and up over New York, and up into Ontario, and then the wind brought it back down across Nebraska, that cloud of dioxin, which is the byproduct of vinyl chloride once it's been set afire and turned into a black plume of smoke. It was then no longer vinyl chloride, it was dioxin. That's what happens to that chemical when you burn it. Okay? And I've talked to people that's in Ohio, and they have yet to check for dioxin. They're not checking any of the houses for that. They're checking it for vinyl chloride. Well, vinyl chloride ain't vinyl chloride anymore once it's been burned, so it's gone. And they can honestly say, well, we can't find any evidence of vinyl chloride. But what about the dioxin? Now, the dioxin does not dissipate. It doesn't go anywhere. That's why it's actually outlawed as a usable chemical, because dioxin was used in World War I as a bioweapon. So I'm wondering, when are they going to start testing for the true deadly chemical that happened when they purposely drained those tankers of their vinyl chloride and set it afire so they could change. Oh, well, the train's not responsible for dioxin. We're only responsible for vinyl chloride. These are the kind of lies and deceptions, just like the shaman was a armed insurrectionist, and the same lie, the same thing. The only thing this is the shaman lost his freedom for 4 years for his crime.
Don't you? Wouldn't you think?
Happen
Wouldn't you think
EPA?
there's a? Wouldn't you think there's a chance that with this new footage that has been out, and it might take some time. It might. I'm not saying it won't take time, but don't you believe that with the new footage that's out, his attorneys should be on the ball right now? I mean, this has to do nothing else but put some wind in their sails. I mean,
yes, that judge who sentenced him, okay? Everybody should be sending him footage that he was not allowed to see.
Well, he's seen it by now. Oh, he's seen it.
Right, probably.
He's seen it. Oh yeah. So as soon as it came out, he knew something. He knew as soon as he got wind of it, he better do his due diligence, because at the end of the day, he made his call off of information that he didn't have. Now, hadn't he had this information, and I'm just going off of what I watch on CSI and New York Undercover. I watch the shows, but
that judge should immediately release him.
Yeah, that's a mistrial.
And set him for a new trial later on.
That's a mistrial. That was withholding exculpatory evidence from the defense team, because the defense team wasn't allowed to present this in his.
Do you think a judge in a foreign country is going to do that?
Well, that's for another day, but because a lot of people don't understand what you mean when they say foreign country, so we're gonna have to make that a subject within itself. But there has to be entities from outside of that place that enough
public scrutiny. There should be a public outcry, an absolute public outcry of this injustice.
Because at the end of the day, we're not wrong. And that's what I try to get people to understand. The people that stand in intimidation, that stand in fear, that stand in, you're not wrong. If you don't stand up for something, you will fall for anything. And right now, the American people have fallen for so much. I mean, you can go as far back as the Russia collusion, impeachment 1, impeachment 2, the jibby jock, to whatever. When you are satisfied with being told that you don't have the right to know, the right to see, you just listen to what we say, what we do, and that's the bottom line, because stone cold government says so, we're getting to a dangerous place.
Well, all those senators you put up on that, you showed that supported the lie. We, as the American people, have a right to fire them, and we do that at the polls. Never let them liars get another vote. Stop. Get rid of them. End their careers as they ended the shaman's career. Don't vote for them. I don't care if you think they are God's gift to government. Get rid of them. Okay? Mitch McConnell, he has served 6 6-year terms. 6. I, for one, fully believe that you never vote for anybody that has served 2 terms. Not a mayor, not a city councilman, not a school board person. If they have served 2 terms, they shouldn't be allowed on the ballot.
Well, see, now that's where I will part ways with you on that one right there, because I truly believe as long as a person is qualified, is doing the job that he sworely elected to do, and as long as he is continually put in by his constituents, because at the end of the day, we have to remember they work for us. So you got to think of it this way, Mama Mona. Suppose you got 80% of a certain area that wants to continue to vote for a person that's done an extraordinary job, but then you limit them to having to choose between other people that haven't proven themselves or that are less than, just because we've now eliminated a person through a criteria of a 2 or 4 year term. So that's why I have to differ, because, bruh, that's like a coach for a sports team. Bro, if you leading me to championships and then I'm sniffing the playoffs year after year, and every other year you getting me into the Final Four, no need for me to look no place else.
But many states like Missouri, our governor is term limited. He's allowed to serve 2 terms, and that's it. He can't run again for governor.
Okay. Well, I mean, if that's already precedent, if that's how it is, then I don't see no reason to expand it, but to
I believe in the Convention of States amendment to set term limits on Congress so that they can't get enhanced by their money taken. They can go in. They go in on their first term. They're freshmen, okay? And they got all these great ideas. And then somebody like Pfizer comes along and says, I'll tell you what, I'll give you $1 million to vote this way instead of that way. And they get enhanced by the money. You should not be become a millionaire while you're in Congress. Okay. You don't make millions on $180,000 a year income. So it's the fact that it's not that the people themselves originally were bad, but they get involved in the money. And as the Bible says, it is the love of money that is the root of all evil. The money itself isn't the evil. It's that they become so taken over by big corporations, big money. I think if we're not going to limit term limits, we should outlaw any big corporation making a big donation. Donations to a political campaign should come directly from their constituents and their constituents only. You should not be allowed to donate. I should not be allowed to donate money to a senator out of Texas. It should be illegal for me to go outside my state to support a candidate for a state seat. All that money should not come from corporations. It should be illegal for a corporation like Pfizer or North Fork Southern or BlackRock to make a donation to any individual campaign. That would put a stop. That would stop people like Mitch McConnell from running for 6 terms.
Well, you know, they get them kickbacks. You know, they get them favors. You know, they get them favors. And when Mama Mona says contributing to the campaigns, people, we're not talking pennies. We're not talking pennies. We're talking big bucks. We're talking millions. Okay. Now, anybody that knows anything about anything, you ain't giving millions to nobody that ain't, I'm trying to word this correctly, that isn't in your benefit. I hope I'm saying that right. You ain't giving millions to a person that isn't going to benefit you.
A corporation is not going to give millions of dollars unless they can be assured that you're going to vote the way they want you to.
So, and we see what happens with that. But, you know,
things like J6 happen when you have, I mean, you know, and I know that President Trump authorized the use of the National Guard days before that. He knew there was millions of people coming to that rally. And he authorized it. But, Mayor Bowser and Pelosi, oh, hell no. We can't handle the ops of that, of the National Guard being at the Capitol building. Oh, my God, forbid. But we'll erect a fence for the inauguration, and we'll put the National Guard all the way around that fence. Wait a minute. You couldn't deploy the National Guard to protect the Capitol building on J6, knowing that there were millions of American people pissed off, okay, and coming to D.C. But, and that all falls, all of that, because all Nancy had to do was say, yes, I'll take the National Guard. Sign her signature to a piece of paper. Okay. And what happened on January 6th would not have taken place. But Meg showed some video coverage of J6 that shows that the officers there were told not to get their weapons. You're going to disarm them. You're not going to bring in the National Guard to protect the Capitol building. You want this to be what it is. You're going to make sure, and by the way, they only climbed one side of the Capitol, not the other. Everybody on the other side, which was the biggest mass of people, never went past the barriers.
And this is the thing. They had the information. They had the information. The FBI, they got the warning that something might, you know, take place, that, you know, there was threats that something could happen. Even after that, they refused to do any pre-measures.
They did not. They wanted this to happen.
I showed a couple of videos of the Capitol Police. They were in shock that they were undermanned. So I don't know.
The thing is the people need to call for Nancy Pelosi to be held accountable for J6. She should have to serve at least a combination of all those people that have been sentenced. Her sentence should be double what all of them got. Okay. I'm sorry. My opinion is that she needs to not be held in the gulag. She needs to be held at Gitmo. Okay? Where she doesn't get the privilege of having people who support her stand outside her jail cell and sing to her every night. Okay? She doesn't deserve that honor. And she alone is responsible for what happened on J6 because she turned a blind eye to the information she was given by the Capitol Police, told her, the sergeant of arms at the Capitol, at the Congress side, the sergeant of arms in the Senate side, all asked her to deploy the National Guard for that day. She and she alone is responsible. And anything that happened was because she did not put up the safety precautions. I mean, we're going after Norfolk because they didn't do their safety checks on those trains and caused all that problem. We're going after that private business for that. But we need to be holding her head and her head alone accountable for J6. It's all her fault. It would not have happened had she taken Donald Trump up on his offer of the National Guard. It would not have happened. But it did, so they could deflect 2 years we spent listening to this BS every day on C-SPAN. Every single day it was the unselect committee and we got to do this because we got to kill the MAGA movement. They think it's all Donald Trump. But, honey, it's not.
They know it. They know it. I mean, why do you think they took Jim Jordan off the committee and anybody that would ask to see any of this footage off the committee? Everybody see it was a one-sided sham from the beginning. And see, that's one of the things I really get frustrated about. It'd be one thing if we really had enough of imagination to make this shit up, you know, but to actually have to, once again, I gotta say, to sit back and idly have to live it out in real time. Mama Mona, we're not imagining this.
No.
This shit is really happening.
Yes. And I keep telling people, guys, what's happening behind the scenes? You need to understand the Chinese government would like us to starve to death. Okay? They're going to do everything in their power because they've already destroyed our energy. You do these things in war. When you plan to attack a country, the first thing you take out is their ability for transportation, which in our country is fossil fuels for most things. That our tanks, our military equipment, most of it runs on fossil fuel. And so you take out their ability. Then you get them to secretly send all of your military equipment overseas so that you've now disarmed the country. Now you go after their food. Well, do you know that the only plant in the United States that makes the chemical that keeps our city wells clean and free of bacteria was produced in East Palestine? And that was all contaminated and unusable. And they may never get that back. So now we don't have the ability to keep wells all across the country safe for drinking. That's why East Palestine. And if you believe that train derailed by accident,
I don't know.
Watching.
I don't know. There's a lot, there's been like what, there's been what, 3 derailments that we know of in the past, what, 4 weeks?
21 since December.
So,
makes you wonder if something isn't fishy. I don't know, when it smells fishy and it looks fishy, it's probably fishy.
Well, what they say, if it walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, it's more than
Probably it's a
likely
duck.
it's probably a duck.
Yeah.
But sometimes I don't know. It's amazing how far we've moved away from Hunter Biden and classified documents, and
they want us looking elsewhere. Remember that.
yeah, and the shit that they try to sweep under the rug, people, Patriots, remember, like, share, and subscribe, ring that bell so you can get them instant notifications. But the shit they try to sweep under the rug isn't no small shit. It's small pieces to a bigger puzzle. See, what they try to do is, I figured it out. See, you know how you take a puzzle? Now, some people might get a puzzle and try to put the whole puzzle together as one whole puzzle. And then you get some people that they'll notice that, okay, here's a light tower. Okay, so I'm gonna start getting all the pieces together for the light tower, and they'll start putting the light tower together. But then they notice on the box there's a dog on the box at the bottom. So as they're putting this light tower together, they're also coordinating the pieces together to putting the dog together. And before you know it, they got a dog over here and they got a lighthouse over here, and then they put half the car over here. And you so consumed with them thinking they're gonna put the pieces together one by one, before you know it, they done put 4 or 5 sections together, and the only thing they got to do is now connect those little ones that they put together into one big one to make it complete. So it doesn't look like it take as many steps, but it really took as many steps. But
Right.
it made
Have you ever watched the movie Wagging the Dog?
Yeah.
That's what's going on. They're wagging the dog. And if we continue to look at the tail of the dog and forget that he's got a nose on him, okay, we're looking at what he's wagging his tail over here, but we're not looking at what he's sniffing out over here. And this administration has wagged the dog so much that you got the tail way over here and the head way over here, and nobody's looking at the body of it.
But see, Mama, now we can't focus on what they trying to get us. And this is my opinion. We can't focus no more on what they're trying to do. The left hand is doing something so the right hand can't see and all that stuff. I believe now we got to focus on the stuff that we see. I mean, forget the stuff now, because now we moving ahead. Now we focusing on what they might do, and we can't recognize it. We can't see it. Let's get off of that, because that's what they're going to continue to do. Let's slow down and focus on the shit that they told us and what we've come to find out to be the total opposite.
Yes.
That's all. And then say to yourself,
I'd like to see somebody out there that makes memes, okay? Put Pinocchio noses, take a picture of all of Congress, and put the Pinocchio noses on all the liars.
Well, this is what I want. This is what I'm trying to figure out. How many times? Well, I don't know, but I'm still gonna say it, even though it's repetitious. But how many times is it going to take for the American people to be lied to, find out they were lied to, but then still listen to the same people that say, listen to me, trust me, and not question?
It's like someone in the chat had said, they wanted to know if I was vaccine injured. No, I'm too smart to be vaccine injured. I never took it, never will. Okay? I'm
And
too
it's
smart for
America,
that.
and that's everybody's God-given right to whether you want to take it or not. Now, everybody has their own different reasons for taking it. Maybe you live in a state to where you can't send your kids to school without taking it. I've gone beyond the point where I judge people or criticize people about what they did or did not do when it comes to that thing. Because hey, everybody does it or don't do it
And
for
they
their
all
own
have their
reasons.
own reasons,
At the
okay?
end of the day, where did we lose the ability to be able to make our own choices in this country?
Yeah.
As long as we're not out hurting nobody, trying to push our agenda on anybody, when did it ever stop being the America to where we get to get information from all sides, digest it for ourselves, and draw our own conclusions from what we see?
Well,
since when have we become a country to where the people that we put in charge get to say, you only get to watch this because we say so? See, I just keep it in simple terms. Since when do we live in a country that gets to say to us, the people that put them where they are, allegedly, when do we allow them to then turn around and dictate to us what we can and cannot see? See, it doesn't make sense for them to show us their side of January 6th and say it's okay. And then when Tucker Carlson, see, because I've always told people, Patriots, whoever you consider yourself to be, without authority, we would never be able to accomplish nothing. That's why I appreciate the fact, though little but something, that we got the House back. Because without us getting the House back, we would not be able to see the transparency of the January 6th footage. So what gives one side the right to show their portion, deliberately withhold something that might bring a whole new perspective to it, and then when we get to see the stuff they didn't want us to see, then the person that shows us that is all of a sudden a bad guy?
And I think McCarthy chose Tucker because Tucker has announced he is not a Democrat. He is not a Republican. He's totally neutral.
And
okay,
that,
when it comes to the politics, he just reports the facts like you, makes
and,
it actual and factual.
and that gets into my next segue. We have text now. And oh Lord, are they trying to make some big? This is the scenario. You don't have to like somebody to appreciate their grind.
Yeah.
First of all, they don't do it for your acceptance. They do it to get a job done. So we have Tucker Carlson, and now we have these texts allegedly out here. Me personally, I haven't read the text. I don't choose to read the text. I could care less I could care less about the text. These are two grown men that don't like each other, or this is one grown man that don't like another grown man. I don't care. That's little B type stuff. I don't get involved with that. I leave that for the keypad warriors. The actual and factual of it is that even more illustrates. See, I'm trying to use big words. It's Thursday, so it's big word Thursday for me. I'm trying to illustrate the importance that this makes even more of the reporting that Tucker Carlson is doing, because for a man that doesn't like Trump, and I'm going to go as far as to go with what the mainstream media is saying, for a man that hates Donald J. Trump, for a man that despises Donald J. Trump, for a man that can't wait for Donald J. Trump to be off the scene, for the life of me, I can't understand why he is giving Donald J. Trump all this ammunition to use on his campaign trail. There's nothing worse than a man to be able to take some ammunition on some shit he told us about years ago, and it be actual and factual.
I've been subscribed to Tucker Carlson for a long time, and I have yet to hear that man say that he hates Donald Trump.
Well, these allegedly some texts. So I'm just trying to keep it in context.
There's some alleged text too that says that J6 was an insurrection, but do you believe it?
But see, like I put in my comments this morning, Mama Mona, they barking up the wrong tree. LMAO, laughing my ass off, because see, desperate people, they do and they say irrational things.
What is the problem? And I'm going to tell it right like it is, okay? Is that people are no longer informed. We're not an informed society anymore. People don't listen to the news. They don't read a newspaper. They don't watch anything whatsoever that has to do with the kind of things we're talking about today. I mean, I don't know how many people you got watching this compared to the 380 million people in the United States. We have a information problem. Too many people are watching dog videos and not watching what's going on in our country.
But they want to know why they want to know why the country is in shambles. No, they want to know why the country's in shambles.
They want to keep their heads. They're all like ostriches. They want to keep their heads in the sand. If I don't know it, I don't have to do anything about it. If I don't know that there's a crime happening in the house next door, then I'm not responsible. I don't know it, so therefore I don't have to be part of it.
I tell you what, Mama Mona, I had this individual calling me an insurrectionist. Well, they stopped for about a couple of months now. But I went and I showed them this Tucker Carlson video, and I tried to pull my phone away from them. They wouldn't let me pull the phone away.
They'd never seen it. Oh my God.
They had to sit there, and it was like I looked at them. I looked at this individual, and it was like they were trying to process what they've been told and accepted to believe to be truth. Because once you accept something to be truth, you get comfortable in it, because it is what it is. Okay, I'm comfortable with it. I'm going to accept it, and that's going to be my point of view from now on. But after you have that feeling, and then you see something that totally gets into that feeling and starts ripping it apart inside you, you then have to sit back and be like, well, what now I can't stop watching it until I get myself right again, because now I'm not right. Now I'm not sitting in that comfort zone to where what I thought was truth might not be truth. So now I got that uneasy feeling.
The problem is, it's just like I was in Applebee's about a week ago, and my sister
About
and
a
I was
week ago.
talking about the raising funds for water for Palestine, and a woman beside me in a booth said, "What do you mean a train derailment? What do you mean a chemical spill? I never heard nothing about it." And I'm like, in my mind, I'm immediately like, wait a minute, this is going to affect us. It's going to affect me here in Missouri. I should know about the things that's going to affect me, at least. But no. Do you know how many people have no knowledge? They have no knowledge of what Tucker has released. They're not watching it. They have no knowledge of anything that's going on because they do not tune in.
Well, people, you don't have to wonder anymore why DirecTV took Newsmax off the air, but I was tripping on that too, but they still got Fox. So they still get a portion of it, even though it might be, you got to watch out who you watch on Fox. I'll just leave it at that.
I'm one of these people that, I'm sorry, you can take it off of DirecTV. You can remove it, but I happen to be a subscriber. I can watch my Newsmax all day long. In fact, I can watch my One American Voice all day long and One American News all day long, because I choose to subscribe to their internet sites. That's my choice, because I, for one, like to know what's going on. I'm curious as to what's happening in my world. So I'll never click on a story submitted by the alphabet soup. Okay? Mainstream media. Okay? They'll never get a view, because they make their money off of how many times it's viewed and how many people view it and for how long they view it. Okay? That's why I got Newsmax running live right now on another page. And it'll run all day long, because I want them to have all that view money and make all those media points so that they get bigger and bigger and bigger. I want to give to the people who give me real information. And I give to them by watching them. Like everybody, if you're here, make sure you've hit that like and subscribe button. If you want real, actual, factual news, you got to go to places like the Patriot Lab to get it. You're never going to get it on the multimedia alphabet soup stations. Okay? I blocked them. Do you know you can go on a smart TV and you can block any channel from ever appearing on your smart TV? It's kind of nice. I had fun getting rid of ABC, NBC, CB. I love Survivor.
Right.
I have watched every single episode of Survivor. But Survivor is produced on Paramount, CBS, which, by the way, is one of the alphabet soup. So I had to give up. After 44 seasons, I had to give up Survivor, because I can't watch it on anything but CBS or Paramount. And I refuse to give them one single red cent or one single second of my viewing. I paid $6 a month religiously to CNN and Paramount so I could watch Survivor, the only show I watch. And I have paid $6 a month for the last 2 years since it went monetized like that to get Survivor. And I went to the bank and I closed it out, and I went to their thing and I closed it out, and they sent me a thing. Well, we can't process your payment. You know why? Because you're processing a payment on a credit card I put a stop to. Okay, you're not getting another penny from me. I will not give those alphabet soup stations, I don't care how much I love their programming, I'm too much of a patriot to promote and to support people or entities that lie. I love watching, I loved until today. You showed me those people telling those lies. One of them people happens to be Kennedy and Graham, which I have been subscribed to their channels, their Facebook pages. Guess what? And when this is over, my first order of business is go unsubscribe. I won't get no more emails from them. I don't want to have any contact. I do not want to be associated with liars. So if you're out there spewing lies, you're going to spew them to somebody besides me, because I'm not going to listen.
All right, all right. Well, hey, people, Patriots, I got Mama Mona. Many of you know her from the Convoys, from the old rugged flag. And we're going to get into our last topic for this afternoon's discussion. And
by the way, Ray, it's called the Ragged Old Flag 911 is its official recorded name.
Okay, it's the Ragged Old Flag 911, and I'm sure. Have you put just that on your page? Do you have a video of you just doing that?
Yes, you can go to my YouTube channel, Mona Moments, and I have recorded just the Ragged Old Flag 911. If anyone wants to go and scroll through some of my recorded videos, you can find it.
Okay. Well, we're going to get into the last one. Remember, y'all like, share, and subscribe. Ring the bell so you can get these notifications. YouTube, make sure y'all hit the notifications so you can know when your man in the lab is about to hit the set. I've noticed the subscribers on YouTube is growing, not like I wanted it to. So y'all make sure y'all share, but also make sure y'all ring that bell so y'all can get the notifications. You already know where you can find the lab. The Patriots Lab Uncensored on Facebook, MeWe, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, Rumble, Truth Social, and YouTube. So our last segment, let me see where we at. For today is going to be, I've been thinking about this, and I've been trying to, I haven't done the numbers on it, but I want to start. I want to, because I want to try to put things in perspective. So we have the January 6th incident. In the January 6th incident, they said it was estimated that 114 officers. Now, I would say when they say officers, they're putting everybody in a collective, marshals, all that, Capitol Police, City Police, whatever. Estimated to be roughly 114. They try to say that 5 people died on that day. Where all actual and factual actuality is, only one person died, or 2 on that day.
Roseanne Boland was trampled to death.
Okay, Roseanne Boland, rest in peace. I didn't know that, and I will have to do my due diligence when it comes to that. But when we think about the damage that was caused, let's look at 114 officers compared to over, let's just leave it at hundreds of officers during the summer of love. No comparison. No comparison. Let's look at the damage, the economic damage that was done between small businesses, and just people losing their livelihoods, buildings being burned down, public facilities being burned down, churches being burned down, windows being broken. And this is over the course of a summer. Let's contrast that to one day of what? Some broken doors, some broken windows. Once again, there is no comparison of the damage that was done. How many of those people that burned down cities are sitting in jail right now awaiting court dates? Y'all remember when they burned down that church?
Yeah. Ray, I'm sorry, but I've got to go.
Okay, Mama Mona, I appreciate you for tuning in, and
Okay.
look forward to
Love you,
great
everybody in the
conversation
chat.
again.
Thank you.
So we look at it from every angle. Why aren't we talking about that anymore? All the focus remains on what I believe something that still has to have answers to. And this is my thing. Until you have transparency of a whole situation, how can you pass judgment on a one-sided story? How can you not be adamant to want to see the other side of a story if even for one moment you think you've done someone wrong or someone has been done wrong? Me, for one, I won't sit idly by when I blatantly see someone being done like this. And I'm not saying that he is totally innocent or exonerated. What I'm saying is he deserves a fair chance, a fair opportunity for representation, in which, in this case and a lot of other cases, it was not provided. And something should be done immediately, and then let the chips fall where they may. But if you're not even willing to acknowledge that something might have been done wrong, and you're just willing to stay steadfast because you made a decision and you're going to stick by it by any means necessary, even if it causes ruining someone's life, that's not cool. That's not cool at all. So, you decide. You be the judge. Treat others as you would want to be treated, man. So from your man here at the Patriots Lab on a great Thursday morning, I will see y'all sometime. But in the meantime, in between time, either be there or be, you already know. Deuces. I'm out.